What's up guys, it's Scoopman5000 and today we're back for another action figure review. Today we're looking at the Marvel Legends Venompool Wave movie Venom figure. And if you're wondering why I have two, first of all, if you don't know already, I'm a fucking psycho. And also, I ordered the whole case of these guys off of Dorkside Toys for two reasons. One, I figured that'd be the quickest way to get these, and I was right on that. And also, when you get Venom, and you also get Carnage, who is double packed in this wave, they got the alternate heads. So for me, I'm going to count them both on my shelf, because again, totally psycho when it comes to these. That's my favorite bread and butter from Marvel Legends, is Carnage, Venom, Spider-Man, all of that is the main thing that I collect. And ever since that movie came out 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it's been, that's been my #1 want as a figure in any company really, was the movie Venom. And who would have thought, we're here 2 years later, we finally do get a movie Venom figure for the shelves. And this would have been around the time that Venom 2 released, and I think that's actually why this wave is coming out. Because the same thing happened when the first movie came out and we got that Venom wave with Monster Venom. And I'm glad that this is going to be a recurring theme in Marvel Legends, is a Venom series, a Venom themed series, because the last one was great, one of my favorite series, and this one seems to be 10 times better. So the packaging here is standard Marvel Legends. Interestingly, the Venom series has been a white box, but because it's the movie figure, it is back in a black box. But when you look at the other Venom series figures, they're done in that white packaging. On each side, you're getting the same movie artwork. On the top, you're getting the logo, and then here's the barcode on the bottom. And then on the back, again, interesting, you're not getting any of the information about the wave. And then when you go to figures in the wave, it doesn't feature the movie Venom figure, and it features the Build-A-Figure. So this kind of stands on its own. It's just kind of packaged with that wave. And on the read up here, we get failed reporter Eddie Brock is hijacked by an alien entity that takes a liking to Earth and decides to protect it. And that's obviously the movie changed origin, because we didn't involve Spider-Man at all in the movie. And for me, going into that movie, I had low expectations. Honestly, I don't know where I'd rank it, but it's one of my favorite comic book movies, I think, of the last couple years. And I couldn't be happier to finally have a figure representation of it. And another great thing, that these were revealed only, it seems like, a month or two ago, and now they're in our hands. And usually the wait is much longer. I got things in my carts on pre-orders that have been ordered since the beginning of the year. And Hasbro, I want you to do this more. Announce stuff and then ship it out. But enough of that, let's get to it. Bust out Venom. And here's Venom out of the packaging, and just like the movie, this guy is massive. He fills up the entire plastic bubble when you rip him out of the box. And that does mean he comes with limited accessories. On the figure, you're getting this look, which is the opened up hands, and then the tongue out face. And since I ended up with 2 of these guys, I can just have one on the shelf with those accessories, and then one of them with the accessory hands and the alternate head. And I'll point out that usually when this situation happens, you buy multiple figures with multiple heads, you get to choose the best one. But for both of these closed mouth heads, they both have some paint problems. So this one here, there's a bit of a black scuff on the eye. And then this head here, the paint is a little cleaner, I guess, but it almost is too much on the eye here, and the eyes look way closer together. So I'm actually going to go with this one, but they both do have a bit of imperfection on them. But these are $20 figures. What are you going to do? And for $20, you're getting plenty of value with this guy. So getting a better look at the head sculpt on the figure. The whole figure is done in this shiny black plastic. There's certain parts that seem a bit shinier than others, like the shoulders here, and it's kind of that wet, gelatinous look that the Venom symbiote did have in the movie, and I think that pulls it off well here. And the head sculpt here comes straight out of the movie. That's what you get when you get CGI characters. You can get some really accurate figures, and especially in this figure's case, because it's so long after the movie, they can actually look at stills from the movie and not work off just concept art. So you get a really accurate, really popping version of the movie figure. Would have been nice if the tongue was articulated, but as it stands, it's just a bit of a softer plastic coming out. And for a bit of a throwback ski here, I'll bring in the Spider-Man 3 Venom figure. And they actually have very similar expressions here. But the whole inside of the mouth has some pretty gnarly sculpt, and then the teeth are done in an off-white, spiked up teeth. And on both heads I got with the open mouth, the paint is very clean. Just unfortunate that both smiling heads do have those imperfections. Then moving down to his torso here. Again, the whole figure is massive. It's much bigger than any usual Marvel Legends. And you can see, comparing it to a Hyperion molded Venom, just how much taller and a bit wider that this chest really is on the new figure. And the biggest design difference from movie Venom to comic books is that he didn't feature the spider logo for obvious reasons. So instead what we got were these white veins. And now there's plenty of veiny sculpt all over this guy, but it doesn't seem like these are particularly raised on the sculpt. But the paint is done pretty well, and again, for a $20 figure, I think you get the effect across pretty well. So it's like a bluish white veiny effect. So it goes across the whole top of the chest and the shoulders. It goes over to the back as well, down the back in this kind of pattern. And it doesn't really continue on until you get to the forearms and the hands, and that's about it in terms of paint on this guy. Other than that, he's just a large black sculpt, but it is all brand new for this figure, and I could definitely see them coming in later, and this could be a modern comic book Venom for sure. But he's got some great musculature going on here on the chest. It's that nice ball joint design, so the sculpt is really good. Moving on to the shoulders, it's all the same thing. Nice texture on it, and the plastic is very good as well. Goes down into the waist, everything like that. It's all plain black, but with all of this sculpt, all this detail. I don't know how you'd pull off a wash on a mostly black figure, but it would have been nice maybe to get all this detail popped out, and I'm sure there's customizers that are salivating looking at this guy, because there really is a lot of potential for any symbiote character you want to make with this body. It really does work pretty perfect. You can get a look at the nice hand sculpt, and these are pretty similar to a lot of the hands we've gotten with the symbiote figures, just large clawed looking hands. And then he's got really muscular thighs, but then skinny legs overall. I don't remember if that's what it was necessarily like in the movie. It does look a little bit awkward when you bring it to an action figure. It's really more just with the thighs up here, but it's cosmic, it's superhero. It doesn't have to be realistic, just something worth noting in terms of aesthetic. But yeah, the rest of it is all great sculpt, even down to the feet here. These are unique to Venom. Some very animal looking feet here, and they're nice and wide at the front at least, so it doesn't have too much of an issue standing. It almost seems like there would be, but it's really not too bad. You just kind of have to arrange them a certain way, and once you get him in some more dynamic poses with the legs kind of spread more, you could definitely get this guy standing. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, and I say that and I can't get him to stand for anything, but it should be fine once you get him in some good poses. And speaking of that, there's plenty of articulation on this guy. Unfortunately, there's no hinge at the neck here, and I don't understand why they don't do that sometimes, and it really does hurt this guy, because he basically cannot look up for anything. And for Venom, you want to get him in some kind of crouch poses, kind of do a lot of this action, but then he can't look up, so what's the point? So that's probably the biggest gripe when it comes to the articulation here. He does get a rotation. It's just a normal ball joint up top. I think there's a double ball, like a dumbbell joint or something, but it doesn't really work well. So down you get a little bit, but you're really not going up at all without ripping the head off. The shoulder has a nice click to it, so it rotates all around, and you get a nice hinge going 90 degrees. You get an upper bicep cut, really awesome double jointed elbow, and then a hinge and swivel at the wrist. The torso here most closely resembles the vintage carded SpiderMan, where you had the lower ab crunch and then the ball joint. So it does the same thing here. You get a really nice range on that ball joint. It's very smooth. And then this inverted ab crunch low, you get tons of movement there. The only issue that does bring is that you don't get a waist swivel, and what happens is if you want to do them in certain poses, you can kind of get away with it with the ball joint and the abs, but it's just not going to look as natural as adding a waist swivel would when you want to rotate them at certain points. But that being said, I mean, you can crunch them all the way. You can go back with it, so there's plenty of movement to be had, and the tilt that a ball joint provides is unmatched, but it would be nice to also have a waist swivel in there. You get a very good splits at the legs here. That goes into a upper thigh cut, and a really good double jointed knee goes all the way back. And then at the foot, you get the hinge, and then you get the ankle rocker. And overall, that's going to do it for your look at movie Venom. And another way to really appreciate this guy is to just understand how big he is, and for that, we'll go ahead and do some comparisons. And here he is with some Spider-Man figures. We got the retro carded comic book Spider-Man, and then a Tom Holland Spider-Man, and you can see how much bigger he is, especially compared to Tom Holland. So by the time they inevitably cross over, Spider-Man's going to be in for a bit of trouble, because this dude is 2 times the size. Tom Holland's looking at about mid-torso on Venom, and that's a really good size difference with these figures. And then Venom with his family of symbiotes, we got the previously released Carnage, and then the original Toxin. And so that Carnage is on a bit of a smaller body, Bucky cap, I think. And then the Toxin is on more of a Hyperion build, and you can see how much bigger this Venom is than both of those. I've yet to get the new Deluxe Toxin, but for me, I want a skinny Toxin. That's what he looks like in my mind. I want one that's more closer to Spider-Man's or Carnage's proportions than to Venom's. For some more symbiotes, here we have them with Scream and then Lasher, and I'm so glad that Hasbro's getting around to completing this team with Phage in the newest series. But what a missed opportunity not getting Riot in this wave, either as a Build-A-Figure for the comic version or as the movie version, because he was the main villain in that Venom movie. So out of all these symbiotes we've gotten from the Life Foundation, I'm very surprised that Riot is not being made already. And then after that, I think we also need Agony, I think. And I still think we need like 1 or 2 more to complete this Life Foundation symbiote set. But I'm just glad that Hasbro is making more of them. And then for some more Venoms, we got both versions of the Hyperion Venom. This is the original, and then this is the re-release. My original here, unfortunately, has some really fucked up wobbly legs, but you can see the height here, and he's about the same height as well as the Spider-Man 3 Hasbro movie figure. And what a glow up that these figures have had, because this is like a very strange figure. I kind of love it for it, but totally inaccurate from the movie and just very strange looking. But it's probably the most unique Venom that I have. And then if you really want a sense of how big this guy is, we'll bring in both Build-A-Figure Monster Venom and Deluxe Eddie Brock Venom. And you can see that he's standing a bit taller than these guys. Obviously, those Monster Venoms are a lot wider and a lot more stylized. But in terms of a display, if you go in and bring in your Spider-Mans and all your other symbiote figures, this guy is going to be in the back, and he's going to be tall, and he's going to look right alongside with these Monster Venoms. And overall, that's going to do it for your look at movie Venom. And this is a figure that really makes me need a flight stand, because I could just imagine the crazy poses you can get him in, leaping and jumping and all that. Because what you get here is a figure that's packed with articulation. The only things that are really missing would be that waist swivel, a hinge at the neck, and maybe some butterflies would have been nice. But this is still a great Venom body, and I can't wait for them to do more with it. Get some more symbiotes, some more comic book Venoms. And hopefully by the time Venom 2 actually does come out, maybe we'll get some more from that movie universe. We'll get a movie Carnage, we'll get Riot, and whoever else decides to show up in that movie. And what this means for the future of Marvel Legends, I don't know, because we got a comic book Morbius in this set. Maybe we'll get a Jared Leto Morbius and whatever other Sony Spider-Verse movies that we're going to be getting. Seems like more and more every day, Sony and Marvel are kind of getting friendlier and getting more merch out. And for me, that's all good, because I do love the Venom movie, and I can't wait to see where the rest of this line goes. As for right now, we got a great Venom movie figure, and then we got plenty of more Venom comic book figures on the way. We're going to cap it off, of course, with that Venompool Build-A-Figure. So I'm going to be reviewing every figure, because like I said, got the whole damn case. So if you want to see those videos, you want to stick around for this week, because I'm going to be posting a review every day of these guys until we get up to Venompool. And then I still got a ton of backlog of things I need to review. I got G.I. Joe, got some more Ninja Turtles, got some McFarlane DC, got some Storm collectibles. I got a lot of stuff recently, so I'm not even going to be buying much for the next couple weeks, because I do gotta just work on what I got right now and get some reviews out. I'm going to be doing some photography with this guy, and you can check out more of that at Instagram over at scoopman_5000. Let me know what you guys think of this figure, if you're excited about it as I am, and if you're going to be picking up this one along with any others in the wave. And if you like these kind of reviews, you know where to stay right here, and I'll see you guys in the next action figure review.